Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our monthly Ascension Angel Messages for the month of August 2024. So, before we get into the actual messages themselves, I'd like to thank everyone who has been continuing to follow me on this particular series, and also would like to welcome anyone who is new to our uh, angel community. And so invite you to also, if you haven't done so, to subscribe, to select the all notification bells, like, dislike, and of course, leave your comments. If during the course of this video you feel called to have an angel reading with me, you can go to my current website, theangelschool.com/services. Also, if you'd like to support my channel with a donation, um, you can go to my PayPal me link for Angelic Wisdom LLC. These links you can find in the description area beneath this video. So feel free to check that out. So let's take a look at the format. Many of you are familiar with it, but just to always be clear for anybody who's watching the video, the card in the center will represent the archangel that we'll be working with in this month, and it'll be working with you in this month, and an archangel that you can call upon and work with those energies. The cards on either side are from messages from your guardian angels. And the card on the left will represent the message from your guardian angel from the Major Arcana, which is just really going to be focusing on the general energies or themes or influences that might be unfolding for us in this month. And then the card on the right is from the Minor Arcana, and it highlights how this energy is showing up in your day-to-day awareness and ways that you can work with that energy. So let's go ahead and take a deep breath. And also to make sure that you're really grounded, especially since the last month has had a lot of energy, a lot of shifts, and much of it we've had to just go with the current and allow the process that's been unfolding for months now to really culminate in the way that it needs for you. So see roots, gold and silver, growing out from your Earth Star chakra, which is beneath your feet, which is a beautiful, brilliant silver orb. And so if you could make sure that that's expanded and just breathe into that space, that chakra, and see it, you might feel it lighting up. You might feel heat beneath your feet or warmth growing at the bottom of your feet. And as you connect now, sending those gold and silver roots into the pink crystalline heart of Lady Gaia, and receive that love now. You may or may not sense it, but know that it is happening, that her love fills your aura. And just breathe it into all the cells of your body. Your connection with Lady Gaia is very important, especially right now as we're all feeling um, as though we just want to run, like, right? Like we just want to just float out of our bodies because it's getting really intense in terms of information, energies, and that are floating around, and people are acting out of fear. And when we do that, people are also careless about the way they use their energy and where they're pointing that energy and with what intention that energy is leaving them and going out there and affecting others. So one of the reasons we're feeling this is because now we all need to be held accountable for the way that we misuse our energy by not remaining grounded and focused and intentional about what we want, how we want to show up, and how we want that to express itself to others or impact others as well. So let's go ahead and tune in to the energies for this month. And I just saw the word eagle. And so this month, it gives me a sense of having a sort of broader view, or having that sort of high position that allows you to see everything, as it is, and at the same time connecting into what it can be, so that we just don't get stuck at that level of dealing with things just as they are, but tuning into what choices are available to you, what options are open to you, and for you to choose those options, to be able to choose those options by focusing on what the situation can be. Now, that does not mean that you enforce this. That is not the purpose of that. But it is there for you to start navigating and allowing this to possibly be integrated into the path that you are walking within all of what is occurring and unfolding. So though that choice, that option might be be above what you're seeing, you cannot force it. You have to allow it through your heart, and trusting and listening and acting when you feel inspired to do so, when you're given that nudge that this is the right moment where everything is open, where that choice can come through without force, but is acknowledged and embraced. Almost, this is going to sound like out of sync with the line of words I'm using, but it's drawn in by everyone. most importantly, you just have to shine the truth that you're aware of. Shine it, meaning embrace it yourself. And as you shine your light, your energy, your frequency will shift, and people will be drawn to whatever it is you have to offer or say. And that's how this is navigated in and woven into the tapestry of what's happening, and that a shift, everything can then begin to shift towards that higher alignment. Now, don't be stuck on the way it was shown to you. The way things are shown to you is also the way in which to ease you into your role and your purpose. So if it was given to you the way that it might actually come about, you might have rejected it. So don't be so hard on intuition, the universe. When they give to you things the way that you can understand them, in order to have faith and courage to show up in the way that is meant for you to do so. And in a way that allows you to open yourself up and shine that light that will activate others. So once your mission always is really to facilitate, and then you have to let it go how others receive it or envision or interpret what you represent. It's not an error if it comes out differently. It's not an error if it looks as though what you did fell on deaf ears. This is never true. People may choose not to give you a response or feedback that you're looking, or the kind of feedback that you're looking for, but it landed. How long it will take for them to open up the package when it arrives and is placed at their front door, well, that you and I have no control over, and therefore the moment you've released it, you should fully release it and get back on track with what you are meant to be doing, how you are meant to be illuminating the next stages of whatever your journey is about. There's always lessons, and there's always opportunities, and there's always possibilities. But what makes all of this possible is your faith and your patience and your understanding. So your peace that surpasses all understanding in the orchestration of the universe. All right, so let's take a look at the Archangel that we're working with for this month. And this is Archangel Mallory. And Archangel Mallory, the message says, remember who you are. Remember who you are. And remember that everything that is unfolding, especially when things happen and it seems like It's like a curveball that was thrown at you. It's to remind you those things are happening, are there to help you to remember just how sacred and how incredibly important your life is, your life and your light is to the world. To never forget that you were not, because sometimes we feel this way, we feel like in life, like we have no value. We feel like we are, some old, I don't know, like I guess we look at some people, we say, oh, that's a really, I don't know why cloths are coming into my head, but sometimes we say, oh, that person, that person is like something like silk, and this is a rag, and we might think of ourselves as being no better than the rag, and wondering, like, why did you waste your time making me? Maybe because of the things that have gone wrong, and so many disappointments, and so many hardships, and so many challenges, and so much beating up on yourself that others started doing that as well. But it's important for you to remember that you were asked for. You were summoned here by Lady Gaia, who is in charge of the divine plan that this planet's role serves within the universe. She oversees that. And everyone this time was chosen because of all of your unique qualities and abilities. So Archangel Mallory is the divine feminine complement of Archangel Christiel. And Archangel Christiel is in charge of your causal chakra, which is the first chakra above your crown chakra. However, it's slightly towards the back of the head. And it's associated with the moon. That's its link. And to an Archangel Christiel, this particular chakra, the causal chakra, is also linked to the angelic realm. And the angelic realm is seventh dimensional. So she's reminding you that many of you who are watching this are seventh dimensional souls. You are no trifling rag, mistake, or any kind of insignificance that you could possibly think of, that you tell yourself. Her healing energy comes down from the Pleiades, and it enters through Earth, through Bethlehem. So her spiritual retreat is over Bethlehem. Archangel Christiel's is over Jerusalem. Archangel Mallory's color is a deep gold that transforms so deep it transforms into burgundy. So she will connect with you as well through that causal chakra. And this deep burgundy kind of calls you into action with wisdom. The second message on the card says, take action when you are ready. And there's something within that statement that I feel really speaks to someone's heart right now. You might be thinking to yourself, am I ready? Or when am I going to be ready? If you're asking any questions of doubt, the time is not right. You're forcing it or enforcing something. There are times when we introduce something and we get a strong negative reaction from others. However, when we know, when you feel sure, and that love, and you feel that strong connection of love and inspiration in your heart, again, the feedback may not seem as though it landed, but it was the time for it to be delivered. When you are doubting whether or not you should be thinking about this or doing this, or you're feeling pushed by others to do something, and maybe you've forgotten because it's been going on for so long that you started pushing the same agenda. And it's been creating a lot of struggle and strife in your life, a lot of unhappiness, a lot of uncertainty and unrest. Earlier, they wrote the word rest when I was talking about the ego, and that perspective is something that might be what they're also referring to. It might be a bird's eye view or eagle eye view of your own self on your journey, on your path, and noticing whether or not you're being led and guided and called, or if you are just pushing yourself and trying to make things happen that's causing everything to constantly. Because if it's constantly a struggle, that is a strong indication that you are projecting the struggle by not listening to yourself. And sometimes it takes, layers to go through to get back to that self. Remember who you are. Remember what lights you up. Pay attention. Remember what you are automatically passionate about. Remember what it's like when you're this way, where you don't have questions and you don't doubt your actions. There's a point when doing the other thing, the pushing yourself, you don't know when you're ready because you're constantly in opposition to yourself, that there is no moment to feel like you're really truly ready because you're not truly listening to what you want. So you can call upon Archangel Mallory to help you to get in tune with who you truly are. Because first, that is who you have to get in touch with. To disrobe from all of those layers of pretense and trying to live up to others' expectations and their likes. You have to release this in order to really finally come to know that when you're ready, it'll always be clear, because what you're doing it's who you truly are. It's what lights you up and motivates you. So it's like having energy in infinite supply. Can you just imagine that? And just because you have energy doesn't mean that you want to use it all the time. But it's also knowing about the preservation of that energy and not just letting it leak, not letting it be abused or diffused because you're not listening. And not knowing when you're ready is a result of that. All right, so let's take a look at the card here and look at that. It's ego. So what's really coming to a head for all of us, and I've been saying this to friends, and I've noticed it myself, especially in the last 3 weeks, the ego has just really been unleashed, and everybody, well, what the ego is really about, and you see this bird cage here, represents your soul, your spirit. You are meant to be free of any voices except your own. And your own voice is the divine. It's just a facet of its incredible love. That's that specialness that we were talking about earlier. And what the voice of the ego does, and the matrix that it's created, is to keep feeding endlessly from every avenue you can think of, is thoughts and ideas for you to think about, or to be persuaded to think about and act upon. And what been seeing, the events don't really matter. It's the mechanism that you need to be paying attention to, because for the first time, we are privileged to see the matrix, to see the mechanism of the ego in its raw form. Again, sort of like the Wizard of Oz, when the curtain got pulled away, you saw this, So, and all of us suffer in our days because of those thoughts that are running through the system of our world, and ads and on television, everywhere you look or turn, even design language. It's all telling you what's perfect for you, but it's really telling you what's perfect for them. And when they select not to honor the diversity and be inclusive in that, then many souls will feel disadvantaged and disenfranchised rather than privileged, because those messages do not highlight you in any way, shape, or form. The idea that the system tells us, and I'm going to say it just this way, that wealth is success, opulence is happiness. And many of us, this a thought occurred to me the other day, and I remember, probably on some spiritual discussion or wavelength or channel or whatever you want to say, people were like, well, but we're meant to be, have abundance. And everybody really, when you say that, you don't realize that you're saying that from the only framework that you've ever known. And so we're scared to not have, to not be wealthy, when being wealthy or being poor has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with the soul. And that's not what I'm trying to say. It's sort of what I'm trying to say. This is something that I'm trying to get it out because I don't want to hear it either. None of us wants to hear this. But our souls have no need for any of this kind of language or understanding or perceptions of what we think is abundance or wealth or beauty. None of it. None of that matters to it. It is always a blank and neutral slate. And we just happen to be caught up in a system where that matrix, instead of liberating and giving people the freedom to define their own existence, it tells them that there's only one existence that matters, and therefore, once that happens, who you really are and being authentic and knowing that inner voice and knowing what you're ready for becomes severely challenged. Meaning, as in dysfunctional, or one being impaired. Your connection with your truth becomes impaired. With your inner voice, that connection becomes impaired. And for some, inoperable. And then you are totally dependent upon the matrix that you're handed. This cage. But like that symbol of the bird, and I was thinking I know why the cage bird sings, that bird will keep singing though. It will keep singing the song of source, of spirit, of oneness, of harmony, of peace. But all of these things first have to exist within yourself. You have to invite yourself back to home. Welcome yourself home to this state of awareness. And as I was saying in the weekly angel reading, you have to clear out this clutter in your heart, the hoarding of, and the fear of, we have so much fear hoarded within our hearts. And it doesn't belong to you. That's one understanding of remember who you are. This has nothing to do with you. What I'm trying to get at, I hope this will be the thing that will help you to really understand what I'm trying to get at. According to whatever it is that the matrix says that you are, poor, wealthy, whatever you, however you want to classify yourself, there's so many identities. Until you appreciate who you are, as that saying that they told me 20 years ago, is because of your imperfections that you are a perfection. Once you fully are able to embrace what that means, then whatever your life is right now and however you feel about it right now and yourself, first of all of that is dependent upon that outer reality. It all seems that way because of how you feel about yourself. You based on the matrix of the ego, you're either in or you're out. But I know at some point that all of us have had glimpses of our truth if it didn't last, but just for a moment, when you felt like, boy, I have so little, but I have so much of myself in this moment restored to me. And it is not to say that you can achieve here's what they want you to do. It doesn't care how little you achieve or how much you achieve. Without knowing who you really are and deciding based on that, the meaning of whatever it is that's outside of you has for you, until you assign that meaning to it instead of it being imposed. You can never be at rest, at peace, or happy within yourself. It is the projector, the creator of your perception of your reality. And that is what makes your reality what it is for you, not anything else outside of you. But the reason that we're seeing the matrix sort of in this raw display, telling us what we were thinking, and now we're starting to really feel it because we can't numb out anymore. The veil of illusion and the system that built it, the patriarchy, that has already started to crumble. And that's the reason why we're seeing the chaos of that energy trying to wield itself in a world that has already changed, where love is already here, as they said a few weeks ago to me, the angels. Love is already here. And it's because love is already here that the ego looks foolish. But again, they want you to pay attention to the mechanism and those who operate the mechanism. You have the power to turn those mechanisms off or unplug yourself from the matrix that they've created. You have the power to disempower their abuse of power by simply removing your dollars from, by no longer being their consumer of their crap. Just tell it like a TI is. And this is the choice that, because there's an energy of revolution, that alignment that we talked about so many months ago, the Pluto Aquarius alignment, I think it was, that hadn't had one in 40 years, and the last time it happened was during the American revolutions and all those, that era. So that energy is here astrologically, and the ascension path that we're on has been definitely setting that up. We have to acknowledge what is real and what no longer resonates. Okay, so we have the Three of Earth. And this is about cooperation, working together. But it's also about using your gifts in ways that work in unity with the highest good, using your truth, how you show up every day. And this is in the realm of home, finances, and work. We can reorient ourselves to the source, to the truth. We can unplug ourselves, and we can build what we really need in its place. Now, this might sound very advanced and forward moving and in the big leagues, but let's bring it back to the small scale, everyday sort of routines of your life. This is about having the courage to make those changes in your life that where your life goals and the things that you work for, they work for you instead of you working for them. So if you remember I was talking about soul economy last year, if you right now only have a certain means, then reevaluate everything according to your soul economy, what it needs, not what the external world is telling you need. That's capitalism, but that's the economy of capitalism. I'm talking about the economy of your soul. You can't grow in abundance until you start to find happiness. That's what I'm going to define as living within your means, is being happy with who you are, who you truly are. If you feel like, and when you stop fighting who you are, like you might call yourself lazy or uninspiring or whatever it is that you do, but that's all because you have an idea in your head that's been placed there that you have to be like this. And when you think about it, your heart's not in it. And so therefore, you don't go for it. But that's not lazy. That's ignoring, that's rejecting something that you don't need. That may make sense for the people who want to do it, but it doesn't need to make sense for you. But think about just how successful you'll become once you live within your means, meaning you are only pursuing the happiness that resonates with you. Well, once that happens, happiness is expansive. It's generous. Your generosity, your goals, your aspirations will expand. Your soul economy will expand with you. And at the same time, it will attract to you what you need to support that expansion. And if it turns into what the ego calls wealth, the thing about it is, it won't be complicated for you to maintain it. It will maintain itself. You won't have to think about how to cut people down in order to get more. And you won't want any more than what you have. And you won't trample on others to have it. I wish I could explain it to you, but I think you understand. And I'm going to leave you with that much to process in this month. This is a month of really aligning with your higher self's priorities, so that the revolution of true happiness and blessings can start to formulate, as in laying the foundation for unlimited potential. So I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and have an incredible month of August. God bless you.